I smell something here.
Ooh.
I have got a little
Here we go.
tickle in my nostril,
There you go.
and it might be Newport County flavoured.
There's no other way, everybody. Welcome to the Football Ramble preview show. Newport County hosts Manchester United, and Ange faces Pep tonight. It's Friday, 26th of Jan. I'm Marcus Speller.
I'm Luke Moore.
I'm Jim Campbell.
And I'm Andy Rassell.
Hello, everybody. It's Friday. I went a bit Sean Dyche there on the intro, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
You're obviously screaming yourself hoarse at Craven Cottage on Wednesday.
It must be that.
Yeah.
It must be that. So the old throat isn't what it was, but the mind and heart still are. If you haven't already, then go and listen to the latest Ramble Reacts, where you'll hear my croaky voice after Craven Cottage on Wednesday night, of course. Fulham's lost to Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semi-final, but Andy and I had a nice chat about it, which was lovely.
Yeah, I provided tea and tissues, didn't
It's
I?
like a therapy. Wow, careful. It's like a therapy session, wasn't it, for you, Marcus?
Yeah.
You could say that.
Just talking yourself around about how actually it wasn't that bad, and you don't feel too bad about it.
Yeah, we better to have loved and lost.
Exactly.
And all
Exactly. You remain very positive, and it's a very admirable quality.
Thanks. Well, it's the episode above this one in your podcast app, so go and listen to it right now. And remember to subscribe so you never miss a thing from us here at the Football Ramble. The EFL confirmed yesterday that it will keep two-legged semi-finals for the Carabao Cup next season.
Yeah.
Due to the steaming success of
Chelsea lobbying them after they scored about 5 million goals in the second leg against Middlesbrough.
Yeah,
We need 2 legs to get it done.
God, I'm so glad for that second leg. Yeah, we all need to keep that going, don't we?
Yeah.
There we are. But there are no second legs in the FA Cup, Andy Brassel.
No.
It's fourth round time. We've already had a fourth round tie. Swansea City, it's fair to say, were put to Bournemouth's sword, weren't they, last night?
They were shellacked.
Absolutely shellacked.
That was a proper doing.
Bournemouth did an annoying thing, though, of not scoring more goals after half-time.
Yeah, that really,
Enemies of football,
that really
that.
annoys me as well. That when they think, oh, the tie is won or whatever, and then they don't, and they think, oh, we've got because they were 5-0 up at half time,
Yes.
weren't they? And then they go, okay, so we've won that game. We've got Premier League coming up. It's really tough in the Premier League, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And they just
I've
wrap
done my
their
tax
hands.
return.
Yeah, yeah.
Just start doing other jobs.
Yeah, it is a shame.
But do you
It
not
is.
think, though, they thought maybe it's perhaps a chilly evening, although it's been a bit mild of late, a bit windy. If you want to go home in the second half, you can, because
Can.
you know it's done.
We want 10. We want 10.
Yeah,
that's what we
true.
want.
That's
how we listen. We're not going to
consistency, right? Which means 10.
Exactly that. We're not going to protect the legacy of the FA Cup if people are going to wrap their hands in the second half of every game.
Yeah, well, are we
And
going
in Swansea's case, the first half as well.
That's right. That's right. Are we going to get 10 at Rodney Parade?
Well, we could do.
Newport County
I think
hosting.
Man United will do okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking how many Newport will get.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Would it be 6 or 7? Yeah. It's the tie that will have people thinking, surely we can. There's a little chance of a cup set here, Andy.
Well, this tie, I think, would have been even more engaging if you go back a couple of years when Rodney Parade had a lot of problems with the pitch,
Yeah.
particularly at this time of year when it was proper, 80s mud, really.
It's great. It's great
So,
stuff. That they,
I mean, it's great for them that they've sorted it out, but on the other
Disagree.
hand, for a cup tie,
yeah,
it's
Andy,
different.
I reckon,
get the old pitch back.
I reckon Graham Coughlin might have been just digging it up last night.
Camping on it.
Getting a spade out,
Yeah.
all that.
We've got
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran playing there.
Monster trucks.
yeah.
What is that? I don't worry. It's just a
Yeah,
manager.
well, I've got a couple of things to say on this. One is,
Yeah.
have you seen the photos? And this is going to sound disrespectful to Newport County. A lot of broadcasters would say, with no due disrespect, I don't actually really care about being disrespectful to Newport County, or indeed anyone. The away dressing room,
What about your wife and kid?
well, obviously, keep them out of it.
Okay,
Keep them
fine.
out of
That's
it.
what I always say. Keep them out of it.
But the away dressing room at Rodney Parade is a classic. Get those Man United players in there.
Yeah.
Make
Yeah.
them sleep
But
in it the
it's-
night
but it-
before.
but it's
it's
the
an
away-
absolute joke.
But it's not disrespectful to Newport County because it's the away dressing
It's what they
room.
want.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Exactly.
I would.
It's Barry
probably-
Fry stuff.
I would take probably some kind of pay-per-view footage, and I would pay for it, of seeing the Man United players turn up
Yeah.
to that dressing room.
Yeah.
And seeing each of their reactions,
Yes.
where they're going to find their
I regret
spot.
Ronaldo moving.
Yeah, it'd be
Oh,
brilliant.
Mind you, but
imagine.
he did play in the FA Cup, so he would have witnessed this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But still.
But I think also,
But nowadays, though, like older Ronaldo, he'd be right pissed off.
Oh yeah, you would.
There's
Be,
no
yeah.
gold Saudi throne in there. Yeah.
Someone just puts one of those little kind of Moroccan like cushions on the. There's just one on the long bench. And he's like, "That's my seat."
That's
yeah.
it. That's the one.
There's no team of this standard that has got a better record in beating or getting positive results against better teams in cup competitions in this country.
That's right.
You know, if you look at the list, it's Middlesbrough and Leicester and Leeds, and I think they got a draw against Spurs. So there's a load of stuff to credit them. They're in good form. They're coming off the back of a win their last time out as well. I think it was a derby win as well against Wrexham, a big win against Wrexham for them. I smell something here. I have got a little.
Here we go.
Little tickle in my nostril.
There you go.
And it might be Newport County flavoured.
Yeah.
And I've, as you can all agree, I've kept pretty quiet up till now on most things.
Yeah, you do that.
I would love it if Newport County got something here, and I reckon they can. I think they can.
Well, when
do
you
it.
say something, I mean, a draw would be massive for them.
Enormous.
Yeah.
Absolutely huge.
Yeah.
So to Old Trafford,
yeah,
be good.
And then win there. So you kind of, you know.
I think Man United have been very distracted this week trying to get anyone to buy Antony.
Yeah.
And that means they might not be focused on this game. They might be looking past it.
Yeah. I mean, they really are trying to get rid of Antony, aren't they?
That's more of a long-term project, really, isn't it?
Well, getting rid of Antony.
Yeah.
No, but with Saudi Arabia now on the scene, I think that's shortened the project potentially.
Man United have been linked with Brian Brobby this week, which is
Great.
enjoyable because we all like to say Brian Brobby. Let's not pretend we're more mature than we are. But I also love how whatever Man United's problem seemed to be, Ten Hag's solution is Ajax.
Yeah.
Every time.
I'll call Ajax.
Yeah.
We're getting off Jordan Henderson. Would Brian Brobby be the sort of the new Sydney Sam, maybe?
I think
Oh,
he's
that's
even
great.
better than that.
If you remember Sydney
Sam, like private detective.
Yeah.
Private
Wasn't he a
investigator.
cowboy?
Either.
He's a private.
In
I think
Marcus's mind.
I thought he was like a gumshoe private investigator in like Chicago in the 30s.
I think that
I
works
think
better.
we all had our own interpretation of it,
Yeah.
but they were all very, very pleasing.
Yeah.
Recently, Brian Brobby was criticised by Marco van Basten, who said he wasn't
got a
really up
sting,
to it.
innit?
Shouldn't be leading the line for a club like Ajax, that sort of thing. And Brian Brobby said,
Have you seen Ajax play?
Obviously,
Recently?
he said, well, Marco van Basten's one of the greatest players in the history of football, so I should respect his opinion. And then he just left it there.
Right.
I
I thought you were going to say he was going to give the punchline, but maybe best.
No need.
To choose your own punchline, isn't it? that one?
Yeah, I suppose so. But in terms of finances and all that kind of stuff, I mean, it's been a big week or a big recent a few weeks for Newport County because Hugh Jenkins completed his takeover of the club to be the majority shareholder and chairman. We remember Hugh Jenkins. He's been a few places, but Swansea City, I think, is where people would remember him there. Now, he did leave under a cloud a little bit at Swansea, and I know, so you know, some of the fans there aren't huge fans of his, but you know what they achieved at Swansea when he was there is undeniable. But I don't want to start speaking into that too much because we're talking about Newport, and also Swansea fans will have their reasons, I'm sure. But it's been an interesting one. A mate of mine does the 1912 Exiles Newport County podcast, and I was asking him about this, and he said, "Yeah, it's a funny one because some fans are excited about it because this club was in a bit of a tricky situation financially, you know, to say the least. But they did say that they were very sad to vote for the trust to lose control of the club or running the club. So,
but the problem is with that,
it's such a what do you do?
He would know much more about Newport than I ever will. But the problem with that is, as far as I understand it, that Newport, they may well have been owned or part owned or whatever by a supporters trust, but
and will remain to. They still will be.
Partly.
They'll be involved,
Yeah.
but it's not quite.
But it's kind of
Not
similar.
a controlling interest.
No.
But when Portsmouth were owned by the club I support were owned by the fans, it only worked to a certain point because it's very, very difficult to maintain any kind of club to break even or even to profit at that level because the numbers just don't work.
Yeah, I know.
So you end up always having having to find investors to kind of get things back on track. And it's definitely been the case with Newport. I mean, they've been struggling financially terribly for a long time. So, this game will obviously help, particularly if they can take them back to Old Trafford. But from a selfish point of view on a Sunday afternoon, I want to see them beat Man United.
Well, okay, so let's bring it up a bit. So as I say, the lads who do the 1912 Exiles project, they refer to Will Evans, who scored in the last game, as the Llangedwin Eusebio.
Okay, good.
Which I think is quite nice.
Very specific.
Yeah. Specifically Eusebio. So we can all get behind that, which I quite like.
Definitely.
I was also told that additional time at Rodney Parade is sponsored by Free Gripper.
What is Free Gripper?
No idea.
Well, the dugouts.
They'll grip you for free, Jim.
Yeah, the dugouts have Compede branding, which just suggests discomfort as well, doesn't it?
And of course, Goldie Looking Chain were former shirt sponsors.
Of course,
yes.
So
I mean, they've got a bit of
pedigree.
entrepreneurial spirit down there.
it'd be great, wouldn't it, if they could get a result here?
I'd
Have
say
that
so.
Jim Ratcliffe choking the planet to death, not getting enough criticism for it, you disgusting prick.
But at least he's trying to get rid of Antony.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Love your carbon footprint there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of energy being wasted for no reason, Anthony.
Carbon footprint seems to cut in from the left a lot. That's it.
His carbon footprint is just 1 foot.
You can imagine though if they met with some Saudi clubs and they're like, well, this guy hasn't been playing that well, and you go, Antony, do that thing, 12 round with the ball. You like that? You want that?
Yeah,
You can have that.
Yeah. He'll just do this in your palace.
Yeah. Do you need a court jester? Because he's your man.
Yeah.
Another Antony though. Antony Martial is out for 10 weeks, so he won't be involved. Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw.
No one will notice. Literally no one will notice.
Yeah, he doesn't have to fend off transfer interest now. He can just pick up the rest of his wages.
He'll be fine. Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw returned from injury.
Did you see Harry Maguire almost beat old Luke Littler in a leg of darts?
Really?
This week, yeah. Luke Littler beat him in the end.
I can imagine Harry
Well,
Maguire's decent.
they practice every time they're on England duty. They should be good at darts.
I think Maguire was actually fairly decent.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me generally when footballers are good at stuff like that, but it partly did surprise me that Harry Maguire was.
If you were playing darts and you saw Michael Owen walk by, would you just chuck them at him?
You should have moved.
Yeah, because if you remember when
You should have had the bravery to move.
when he threw a dart at somebody and it stuck in their leg, and he was like, "Well, you should have moved."
Yeah.
That's
You had
what-
ages to see that coming.
That's what you do.
Yeah. That's it.
I don't understand.
Odd little fellow.
Very odd, but a fine goal scorer in his day. So yes, good luck to Newport County. We want you to win. Quite frankly,
We'll all be watching that on the TV. That's what the FA Cup's all about.
That's what it's about. That is what it's about. There's no doubt about that. Also on TV, Maidstone United. They've made it. They've convinced the BBC.
The chairman's kicked off enough, and they've taken the hint. He was fuming last time.
He was
Absolutely fuming.
and I understand.
And now they're
why.
going to get whooped because that's how Sod's Law works. Right, you want to be on telly? 6-0.
There you go. Hey, that's what you want. There's your memories. But they did get a collector's item, of course, when Sam Corn's third round winner went in. Lovely goal it was. But George Elokobi said that he'd watched Sam Corn's third round winner more times than he's seen clips of Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi. I love that. I managed that guy. I told him to shoot. Big George said that their exploits have made national news back in his home country of Cameroon.
his story is extraordinary, though.
It is.
When you think he came over from Cameroon as a teenager, went to college, worked his way up through non-league, and eventually got to playing in the Premier League, and had a very good league career outside that as well. And now here he is managing the last club he played for.
Well, he said he's the only Cameroonian, or certainly the first Cameroonian to manage an English outfit, which I didn't do any research. I was very happy to take his word for it.
Yeah.
But if Maidstone can do something there, it will be sensational. But Ipswich are going well. I think
They're really good, and they've one of the best coaches in English football.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I think they've what Maidstone have done pretty well is they've ramped up the teams they've beaten. So obviously beat Stevenage last time, beat Barrow, beat Chesham before that. Chesham, I think, are in Gosport Boroughs League. So they've kind of ramped up as they've gone. Now this is a far bigger test away from home against a good team, a well-coached side, as Andy says. You disagree with this before the show. We're talking about it, Marcus, but I'd like to have seen them play someone a bit bigger.
I didn't disagree with that.
I just thought I just think it's one of those annoying games where they're going to be away from home. They're probably going to get beaten. It's not really that memorable to lose to Ipswich. They might lose like by a couple of goals, and people are going to forget about it.
The point I disagreed with was that it was just
Unglamorous.
and completely unglamorous. And I'm thinking, no, that has been a Premier League ground. As I say, England have played there.
They have.
But
No one will forget
They won a
that.
European trophy, etc., etc.
Yeah,
but you're
there's a
right.
history.
It's not quite the sweet spot because
No.
it's not.
It's just below.
It's not a mega tie, and you're going to get thwacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or are they?
Well, they might not. They might not. Romance isn't dead, Andy.
No, Andy. An interesting tie happening on Sunday morning, or kicking off on Sunday morning at least, is West Brom versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. The first Black Country derby for 3 years and the first in front of fans since 2012.
It tells you everything you need to know about the fact that it's kicking off at 11:45. That's normally a good indicator.
It is,
So they'd quite like to get this out of the way with minimum fuss.
That extra 15 minutes makes a difference at A&E later on.
Yeah, it does.
I think it reminds me of when I did an At the Match at Hibs versus Hearts. And the Hibs fan, the Hearts fan who came on said when it kicked off at midday, you can't really get an undercoat on before this one.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
That's a great way of putting
You're
it.
definitely not. You can't. That's the whole point. That's what they're trying to stop you doing.
Of course, yeah. Their last FA Cup clash came in 2007 when West Brom beat Wolves 3-0 in the fourth round. That surely won't happen this time round, Jimmy.
Well, you never know, do you, with a derby like this? That's the thing about it. I think it's one of the underrated ones in the country, isn't it? Where it is very heated, very emotional. And obviously when games become emotional, that's when they become unpredictable. So you would think, given their league positions, that, Wolves are going to it as favourite. But West Brom are doing pretty well. Both teams are in a situation where it's fine for them to have a cup run now. Do you know what I mean? Some teams, a cup fixture is the last thing they need because they're busy fighting fires. That's not true of either team. So
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good set of ingredients for God knows what.
Yeah.
And we're also in a position now where we watch Wolves play under Gary O'Neill, under Gag, where we go, are we starting to think that they are actually a good team now? They're in good form. They've not lost a game for a while. They're now kind of safely ensconced in the mid-table of the Premier League, which is a great thing given their recent history. And now they've got a chance, as Jim says, to kind of really spread their wings and see if they can notch up a memorable derby win against a rival. But on the other hand, West Brom are in good form themselves and doing pretty well. So I can see why there's a lot of heat on this one. I think it'll be an enjoyable game.
Yeah, Pedro Neto's back for Wolves as well, which is massive.
That is a big one, yeah. Have you heard, though, that someone going the other way is Jonny? He's finally leaving Wolves. He's on his way to PAOK in Greece. He's been exiled from the squad since December when he elbowed a youth team player, then went inside and smashed a TV.
Well, I mean, he's not going to misbehave at PAOK, is he? Because the president literally carries a gun in his holster.
Maybe that's why they sent him there.
Jonny getting exiled for that. You can't do anything these days.
You cannot do anything these days.
Has he done a Shining?
You can't
smashed it up with an axe.
You can't assault.
Yes, Johnny. Anyone? What do you mean you've not seen it?
You've seen that bit.
You can't even assault a child these days. Sounds to me like Wolves are part of the anti-growth coalition. If you ask me,
So, yeah.
Absolute woke nonsense.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get over to Greece where you can do what you want.
Woke for Hampton.
That's what he's thinking.
Wander. I don't know.
You really want him to play for Stoke, don't you?
Yeah.
For that
Woke
game.
City.
There's a punishment.
Yeah. Ironic as well, because there's not much woke going on in Stoke.
No.
Let's be absolutely clear about that.
Let's be very clear.
Yeah.
Also on Sunday, Southampton head to Watford. Let's hope they all get there without being stuck in a train toilet, because last Saturday a Southampton fan did indeed get stuck in a train toilet while on their way to watch the game versus Swansea. The fire brigade had to get him out.
Yeah, and luckily all his mates who were travelling with him all really supported him and kind of looked after him, by which I mean they took loads of photos and put it on the internet. He's standing there and he's trying to hide from the photos, but obviously one half of the train toilet wall is just a big mirror.
Yes.
So they're just taking photos in the mirror and he's standing there looking grumpy because he's stuck in a toilet.
I didn't think that happened. I thought it was like the fear of getting sucked into an escalator. I didn't think it was actually possible, but this guy has lived that nightmare.
He has, yeah.
The top comment on the story of that was someone saying, and that is why you should never use a train or a plane toilet. It's like, is it?
No, I don't think so.
Plane toilet.
No, what are you talking about?
Yeah, the vast majority of people don't get stuck in those
No,
toilets.
they don't.
Oh, dear. Poor lad, though, Andy.
Yeah.
We're pretty sure he made the match, which is just as well.
I mean, it's not. It wouldn't be fair for me to put in insert a comment here about how it's not that surprising because all Southampton fans are stupid.
Yeah.
But some people would say that. I wouldn't, but some people would say that.
I'm glad
Is
you
it possible
clarified.
to be so stupid that you can sort of like essentially break the mechanic on a door?
Yeah.
Can the aura of you be so stupid that it can affect the things around you?
I'll
That's
give
what
you a
I'm
measure of how
wondering here.
stupid he is. Even though he's stuck in the train toilet for 3 hours, he still wet his pants. He said like a big stain around his crotch where he wet his pants.
It's the one thing that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
The one thing you can do, you haven't done.
Oh,
we go.
dear. Blimey, O'Reilly. Well, yeah, speaking of Southampton, former Southampton man Stephen Davis has retired from football. He finishes with the UK men's international caps record with 140 of the buggers.
Which is incredible.
Of course, for Northern Ireland. What a career.
Absolutely amazing.
Absolutely unbelievable. I mean, obviously, Northern Ireland aren't the biggest fish in international football, but even so, I mean, even just staying fit for that long.
They are a
is
fish.
incredible. They are a fish.
But he stayed at a really good level at club football for a ridiculous amount of time.
He clearly looked after himself.
Massively.
Yeah.
And if he didn't, then how come he did?
There was a period of time, I think it might have been under Hasselhoff, where rather than talking about how all Southampton fans like to wet themselves, I'm now going to talk positively about the team. I think it was under Hasselhoff where
They were beaten 9-0.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it.
Twice.
No, I don't have the details because I don't watch Southampton play very closely for obvious reasons. But there was a time when Southampton were playing quite high energy, pressing, like counter-pressing stuff. And Davis was really important for them. Like in the transitions, he would pick the ball up deep and he was really good for that. And at that point, he was still like mid-30s then.
Yeah.
And he was still very dynamic, very energetic. It wasn't, he wasn't getting around the pitch and stuff like that. I just think he's been an incredible athlete.
Very cerebral too. And it's amazing that basically it's taken an ACL at the age of 39 to finish him off. It's a little bit like David Silva.
Yeah.
You know, when he got his ACL and thought, actually, I can't face the climb back from this. I've had an incredible career.
Yeah, and he put in big old shifts for Southampton. You know, they made at least one cup final when he was there. And to be
He's played at international tournament as well.
Yeah, exactly. And at the time, you know, Southampton, people forget that for a long time before Brighton, and you would say now Bournemouth came along, Southampton did a lot of heavy lifting on the South Coast in terms of entertaining people with football. So, you know, we give him and them kudos for that.
I heard it was so good that a lot of the Southampton fans were wetting themselves with excitement.
There we are, you see. Okay, coming up in the second half, we're going to talk about the big one, Spurs versus Manchester City. We've got an AFCON update, and we will be mentioning Hervé Renard, don't you worry. See you in a moment.
I've got major problems with it. For me, looking at that video, that cat hadn't done anything wrong.
Welcome back to the Football Ramble, everybody. Spurs versus Manchester City is happening tonight, and it's a big one. I completely forgot that Manchester City can't score goals at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
It's very strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola said that in an interview, didn't he? He said if he could have one, if he won treble again this year, what could he possibly wish for after that? And he said to score a goal at Spurs. That's what he said.
Ominous.
Yeah. And Spurs fans will very much treat that as a trophy.
Don't
they? Yeah. How good Pep thinks we are.
Unbelievable. You've seen there's a new Pep documentary out on the BBC?
I haven't watched it yet. I've earmarked it to give it a watch, but I haven't been able to do so yet.
Yeah.
It's quite enjoyable.
Is it?
It is, yeah. There's obviously Jose Mourinho pops up, and there's some marvellous editing because every time he's on screen, you hear the sort of music that you hear in an Attenborough documentary when like a shark appears.
Yeah,
he's really brilliantly
lions
signposted.
chasing an antelope.
Yeah, exactly. He's absolutely portrayed as the villain of the piece that he is.
He's demanded that music, probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did Mourinho know what he was being interviewed for?
Oh, he wasn't actually being interviewed. It's just sort of archived.
Oh, I
footage of
see.
him. Yeah,
I was going to say.
There's no way Jose stepping up for that.
That's why I thought.
Not
come
a
on.
chance.
In the week that he's just been sacked. There's no way. Mind you, it would have been recorded ages ago, I guess.
Yeah. It's very good, isn't it? It's very enjoyable. There's a lot of interesting stuff. It grips you, and then at the end, City win everything, and it gets a bit boring. So be familiar to any football fan.
There's no spoilers because everyone knows what happens.
Indeed, yeah.
Nice to see Noel Gallagher on there.
It's not nice to see him on there. It's not nice to see him on there. It loses a star for that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's so poor. It's just so poor. We know you support Man City. No one fucking cares. Just get on with supporting your club like everyone else does.
To be fair, though, there was that video when they won the league where Pep Guardiola was looking at the camera going, come on, let's do one for Noel.
Yeah, that's fine. He's a famous fan. I get that.
So put that on the documentary.
But, yeah, exactly. Let me ask you this. Does it, just the fact that he happens to support Man City, does that make him an expert in football?
I don't have time to answer that.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Exactly. Tonight, Ange Postecoglou and his boys go to battle with Pep Guardiola and co. We've got confirmation that James Maddison is available to start.
And that's a great thing for
That's
everyone.
what we all want to see.
Yeah,
It's exciting. And that makes this tie even more watchable, doesn't it? He's such a watchable player, Maddison.
That's
Just
right.
imagine the amount of chances that Timo Werner will be able to miss with Maddison setting him up.
He's bound to score one of them. I think what I love about Maddison is the confidence that he has. And he will be chomping at the bit.
It's a lovely fit for the club, isn't he?
Oh, it is.
He just fits like a glove in there.
But I think they're going to have to be decisive in possession when they're playing Manchester City. So he is the ideal player for that, isn't
Do you
he?
think he will? I mean, Postecoglou said he's available to start.
I think he'll play him.
Well, he hasn't played football for a long time.
He might only get an hour out of him, but he'll play him.
So you would start him rather than bring him off the bench?
Definitely.
Well, because if you bring him off the bench, the game might be done already.
Yeah, he's a difference
if we take away City's record at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, you're not thinking, well, I'm going to keep my powder dry for the last 20 minutes against City, are you?
Okay. Dan Kulusevski's also recovered as well, so that would be, it's a plus for Spurs. But they've played some entertaining games. It's often an entertaining fixture.
It is 3-0, wasn't it, earlier in the season?
Yeah.
And it's a great Friday night treat. You get home from work. Marcus has already given you the permission to start your weekend.
Big time.
And you kick it off in a big fashion by watching Spurs Man City. Great.
I mean, that's it. I think the fact that it's simultaneously entertaining and Spurs find this way to really get under Pep Guardiola's skin is quite an interesting combination. I mean, it's like what Jim was saying about the documentary. Obviously, they asked a question about him overthinking stuff. But I think his former assistant, I think it was Dominic Torrent, made that thing about, well, actually, he prepares to a ridiculous level to, like it doesn't matter what the team, it doesn't matter what the game. I mean, it's something that drove people mad at Bayern, actually. They're like, well, he lock himself in his office and watch videos of the opposition for like 3 days. They're like, we're playing Mainz at the weekend.
Yeah.
At home. Why?
We'll
Why?
win. Yeah.
But, the attention to detail is so incredible. So I don't think you can underestimate how much Spurs get in his head.
And Ange won't be doing a lot of prep because, as he's already admitted, he just copies what Pep does.
Yeah.
So it's easy. It's easy for him.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's one of those all Premier League FA Cup ties that I'm actually happy is on the telly.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like, oh, Chelsea are playing Aston Villa, and they put that on telly. No one cares. Literally, no one cares about that. It's just your excuse to give to showcase a Premier League game by another name.
Yes.
Manchester City are also the holders, of course.
Yeah.
They cleaned up last season. Let's be clear, it would be very, very boring for anyone other than Man City fans for them to win a load of trophies this season.
Mm-hmm.
So
how far does it have to go for Man City fans to get bored? Do they do like 10 trebles or 10 quads?
Ask Noel Gallagher. Get Noel Gallagher on.
He'll know.
I tell you, yeah.
But
I mean, the reality is, like, if you saw them in the 80s and 90s, it ain't getting boring at home.
No, fair.
I think the better question is how long does it take for fans of those clubs who clean up Man City fans at the moment for them to understand that we think it's boring?
Yeah, fair.
If you see what I
Absolutely
mean.
fair.
I mean, and also if you look at this as a competition, I mean, Manchester, they are absolutely relentless in the FA Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they conceded one goal in the entire competition last season. That was in the final against Man United.
That's
They beat Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United on the way.
Yeah.
And so you can't really question how good they were in the FA Cup last season.
Yeah.
But they haven't scored at Spurs in their last 5 games.
And it's a big opportunity as well, because not just because Spurs are at home, but in a situation like this, obviously, you, by the very nature of getting through, you just take out one of the main competitors.
Yeah.
And we'll see what's happened with Joe Lewis this week, the former sort of ENIC head, pleading guilty to insider trading. I'm hearing they might be stripped of that 2008 League Cup win.
Imagine that. Imagine they just bypass the Man City investigation, go straight to Spurs. We're having that. Yeah.
I'm not sure how they're linked, but I'm no expert in these things. I was looking at Lewis's Wikipedia page, and there was some absolute genius has done a fantastic bit of vandalism because on it there's an art collection section that says Lewis's art collection is estimated to be worth $1 billion and includes works by Picasso, Matisse, Lucian Freud and sculptor Henry Moore, along with an NFT of Emerson Royale's no-look pass against Sporting.
Cristiano Ronaldo was still selling NFTs this week.
I know. I mean, why... What can you get from that you don't already have?
He is a man who loves to live in the past, isn't he? So, I mean, it's quite on brand.
But he must just be so far removed from what his commercial team are doing that he's just signed it off and he's away.
Yeah.
Like, it's
his image
wild.
rights are like an entity in their own thing.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose, Jim, the question is, obviously, you said it is a chance for the holders and those who win lots of trophies to be knocked out. Who do you want to win the game? Answer
It's
the
a
question.
very rare occasion
Come
that
on.
I want Man City to win, and this is one of them.
He still can't do it.
Can't bring it, can he?
I think that's a shame, and I think you've let everybody down in North London.
I'm used to that.
For different reasons this time.
Not just in North London.
Parts of Middlesex as well.
Liverpool faced Norwich on Sunday afternoon, fresh off the back of their Carabao Cup semi-final victory against Fulham,
Which broke your
Voice.
spirit
and voice.
and voice. By the way,
they're hosting the Canaries, or as I like to call them, the David Wagner group, of course.
Yeah.
They had to beat Bristol Rovers, in a replay.
Don't get
Yeah,
that
I'm
wrong.
doing a Jim Campbell. Norwich did.
Did Jim double down after that and say he doesn't care about either of them anyway? So it
No,
doesn't matter.
true.
Yeah.
He hasn't had any of the repercussions yet.
No, he should have.
It's
we'll see,
taken them a
won't
long time to get up to London, isn't it? Yes. David Wagner, of course, was the best best man at Jürgen Klopp's wedding in 2005. And he said the last time he saw him was at Klopp's birthday party last year.
And they clearly had their eyes done at the same time as part of some sort of job lot as well.
Yeah, well, the old laser surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 for 1 probably. Yeah. Well, 4 for 2 if it's both eyes.
Come on. I'd love to see...
Do you think that David Wagner's going to be saying to Jürgen Klopp, listen, Klopp, I was best man at your wedding. We go way back. Can you please spare Norwich another beating at the hands of Liverpool?
Maybe.
Because Norwich's record against Liverpool is an absolute disgrace.
It is.
They haven't beaten them since 1994, and they've been on the end of some absolute beatings.
That wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought you were going to go like back to the 1920s or something.
But Norwich were like a Premier League club for quite a while.
Yeah, but Anfield's quite a tough place to
No,
go.
I mean,
they've had a lot of
all
goes at it,
places,
though.
not just at Anfield, everywhere.
Oh, I see.
They haven't won at all against them since 1994. There was a 5-4 between them in 2016.
That was at the Brit Awards, wasn't it?
Not long after Klopp took over.
That was where Klopp broke his glasses in the celebration of Adam Lallana's winner, wasn't it?
That's right.
And as he very wisely said, it's very hard to find your spare set of glasses when your current glasses are broken.
You can't see anything. Yeah,
that is right.
Hence the precipitation of the laser surgery after that.
Probably.
Can't be getting that situation again.
It's nice that Wagner and Klopp are going to see each other again, though. I could imagine them at a party singing a bit of the Scorpions
Oh, yeah.
together.
What, Wind of Change?
Islands in the Stream, like Posh and Becks, I reckon.
No, wind of change, because they've got a keen sense of history.
Don't Germans also like David Hasselhoff? Bit of the Hoff?
Every single one of them.
Jump in my car.
Yeah.
Could do a bit of that, couldn't they?
I believe if you go to live in Germany, then you have to sign up to that. You have
Is
to
that right?
Listen to a bit of the Hoff.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
you
how much they love
should have
him
picked
there.
a
So the
different
Hoff
song.
stereotype's bad. The Scorpions one is fine.
Well,
Is that
yeah.
what we're learning here?
No, but the Scorpions one is a good song.
Yeah,
Like,
I see.
that is a kind of a song that, I mean, a friend of mine said that he saw that at a wedding, that a couple had it as their first dance song. And he said,
Wind of Change.
He said, I think it was kind of lost on them, that they thought it was a love song and it's actually about, the fall of the Soviet Union and communism.
Yeah.
But he said, I didn't want to say anything at the time.
Would be, I mean, imagine if he had said something at the time. Grab the
what's-
mic. Well, sorry, this song's about communism. So have a lovely day, but this song's about communism.
Hey, if there's any former Soviets here, apologies for that.
Yeah. Do you reckon that Klopp and Wagner, Andy, are Klopp and Wagner actually really good, genuinely really good friends?
Yes, they are, and they have been for a very long time.
Best man at his wedding. What more do you need? Why do you need Andy's seal of
They
approval?
might have had a falling out. They might have had a falling
If
out.
Andy have gone, no, I need more proof. They might have had a falling out.
Do you know who the best man was at Andy's wedding?
I don't think he had one.
It was just Andy's wedding.
Oh dear. Where do we go from there? I said he was at his birthday party last year.
Yeah.
Wagner was.
But I wonder if it's like a two-way thing, whether Wagner just wants to be close to Klopp because he's so successful, whether they are actually good pals. Is he like a hanger-on of Klopp's?
It's
Or are
just
they good pals?
fascinating how you see friendships. Just because one is more successful
It's
than
like
the
you
other.
and me.
It's a bit like
I
that.
just want to hang out with you because you're really successful.
That'll do,
And
come
you
on.
let me hang around sometimes.
I do,
Yeah.
against all of my family's wishes. Now, how about this? Jürgen Klopp said that Mo Salah is the most loyal Egyptian I've ever met in my life.
It's a Bangles song, isn't it? Most loyal Egyptian.
That's a great song.
Yeah, really good song.
Yeah, a banger from the Bangles.
Yeah.
I can see how that comment could be interpreted in a very poor way.
Yes.
But I don't. What does he mean?
I think that the issue seems to be that obviously Mo Salah's got injured, it's a hamstring injury. He's going to be fighting against the clock to get fit if they get into the further stages of the competition.
Of course.
He clearly works with the medical staff at Liverpool all the time.
Yes.
And he won't work with the Egypt medical staff that often.
Mm-hmm.
So he probably feels more comfortable going back to Liverpool for his treatment. He's probably got a lot of stick for that because people want him to be around the squad and still make a contribution because he's a senior player there.
Yes.
And people are putting 2 and 2 together.
But I think, look,
So Klopp's been asked about it, obviously.
It's not his first language, I understand, although he's got a fantastic command of English, I should also say. But perhaps Mo Salah is the most loyal Egyptian to Egypt.
Yeah.
I think would have been a better way of putting that.
But it's just the way it's taken out of context.
Of course,
That's all it is, isn't
Andy,
it?
you've listened to the pod before.
Yeah, if we don't take quotes out of context, Andy, we ain't got a fucking show. Mate. So you need to make your peace with that
That's
right
true.
now.
I think when we're talking about Mo Salah getting back to his best as soon as possible, though,
Oh.
did you see how when he was in his tracksuit in the stands, how they were like picking him up and throwing him about
Yeah, I did.
once they were scoring? I mean, really, he needs to be taken out of harm's way.
Yeah, I did think
Well,
that.
especially given the other injury they got in the camp. I mean, what kind of operation are they running there?
Yeah, Imam Ashur, he's not available for the game against DR Congo because he sustained a concussion after doing a backflip in training.
That's a crap backflip.
It really is. You're landing on your face.
He's landed on his head. Is basically what he said.
Oh man.
Yeah. So it's not exactly as Andy said. It's not the most safest. It's not the safest camp that you could be in.
No, you stick to swimming pools and unicorns.
Well, I suppose you've got to practice them some way, though, right?
Yeah, I guess
if you're gonna perfect it as a goal celebration, you've got to learn to do it.
Not in an international tournament.
No,
though.
after the tournament.
Yeah.
As an Arsenal fan, when have celebrations post-match ever gone wrong?
Well, post-match would be fine. If they lifted the trophy and he's got a concussion afterwards, he'd probably take that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, fine. Get an extra week off, right?
You haven't got me for that was from 1993.
Yeah. What, Steve Murrow falling off Tony Adams' shoulders?
Before Britpop, that technically.
It's PB, free Britpop. So Marcus is now out of his comfort zone.
I'm angry. Yeah. I'll have Stone Roses. I'll even have Happy Mondays. But we're going to do that. Yeah. Well, look, let's go to the Africa Cup of Nations, of course. Now, on Wednesday night's Ramble Reacts, Andy, you mentioned that temperatures are particularly high at major tournaments. And of course, Ghana and Algeria binned off their managers recently after failing to go through. Well, Ivory Coast did go through. They sneaked into the knockouts after being one of the best third placed teams in the group. But they've sacked their manager.
Sacked him anyway.
What else? What can they do? I mean, that game is
he
coming.
He willingly left, actually.
I was going to say, it would have been amazing if he just walked into the meeting room with all the Ivory Coast decision makers. Hey, we're through. How you doing? High five. Backstab.
Well done, boys.
How's it going?
You're
Feet up on the desk. Yeah, bro, you're off.
You're still thinking about that
Objective
4-0 loss, aren't you,
achieved.
to Equatorial Guinea?
Well, so he just said, look, I've taken you guys through. I'm very lucky to do so.
My work is done.
I'm falling on my sword.
Yeah, because
Really?
it was such an embarrassing result in the.
I mean, fair enough to him, I think, for that in one sense, because. Well, no, I think in all senses because clearly no one stood in his way.
No,
I think if they'd have said no, you're leaving, you can't abandon ship now. We're through. I mean, for him on his record, it will always go down that he got them through that group.
Yeah, but he's also gone, who have we got next? Senegal?
Yeah.
They've won every game. I don't fancy that. Listen, on my watch, guys, we just lost 4-0 to Equatorial Guinea. You don't want me around.
Yeah.
Last thing you want.
Oh, dear. One of the assistant coaches has taken interim charge, of course. Quite magnificently, as a lot of people tweeted me. Thank you very much for that. Ivory Coast have asked France, or the French women team more specifically, if they can borrow Hervé Renard for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, France basically said fuck off as well.
Which is a shame.
they spent, what was better
What
is
a
that
bloody-
they spent an afternoon considering it in the boardroom before telling them to fuck right off.
Hervé Renard is one of the expendables. It's amazing.
It's so
Comes
good.
in, just swoops in.
Slight Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, he
vibe,
could pass for a bit of Dolph Lundgren, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Is it not hugely disrespectful to women's football to even ask, though?
Well, I think they would have asked whoever he was managing.
I agree.
If he was in the club game, they wouldn't have asked. But I honestly don't think it's to do with that. I think it's to do with his what he's done there. And of course, he won the cup with Ivory Coast.
I think that can still be disrespectful to the women's game, though.
Bit of both, maybe.
Well, I think that I don't think it's Ivory Coast who would disrespect it. I think if France had have said yes, I think the France.
Do you reckon they sent him a little, like the president of the Côte d'Ivoire FA sent him a little WhatsApp, a sort of picture of a white shirt half done up?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll tell you, need to go after him. Egypt need to go after him so he can carry Mo Salah all the way back to Africa from Liverpool.
All the way down the touchline for the celebration.
He carried the Zambian player, yeah.
Yeah, Uncle Avi wasn't doing that, was he?
No, he couldn't.
Grant,
He couldn't. He's a 60 a day man. There's no way he's lifting anyone up.
Oh dear, yeah, they've gone as well. So, it'll be very interesting to see what happens between Ivory Coast and Senegal, and indeed if the assistant coach is still in charge. Surely there's got to be some mercenary out there. Who would you fancy for it?
Bertie Vokes.
Do you know what I thought, Bertie? I did think about Bertie. What about Redders?
Yeah. Dick Advocat has just taken over at Curaçao, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I think his agent is essentially Expedia. But were he not in post, he'd be ideal as well.
Well, and sorry to dampen the mood, really sad, but obviously a man who did manage them at a tournament was old Sven.
Yeah.
He's
got his heart set on the Liverpool job now, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, look, Jürgen Klopp said that he, take him into the club and show him around. So. Well, anyway, it'll be all eyes on Ivory Coast and Senegal.
I do think
it's a huge game.
It is. It's a massive game, and they've got an opportunity as the host nation to actually stamp their authority back on the tournament against one of the form teams in the group. Do I think they do it? Not based on what I've seen. But I do think, despite what Andy says, temperatures do run high. It's a very rarefied environment. It is still rare, possibly unique, that a manager has guided the team through a group stage and then left.
Oh, yeah, it's totally unbelievable.
It's very rare. Surely Drogba's the man.
That
To
would be
gee
amazing.
everybody up.
That'd be amazing.
Just to have him in there.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Something we can all agree. Ghana went out, of course. I still can't believe they managed to bugger it up, but they did. Now, we mentioned Ian Aki-Williams' flight was being tracked live on El Chiringuito when Pete decided to tune in midway through Wednesday's show. Well, he arrived back in Bilbao on Wednesday morning. Then that evening, came on against Barcelona in the Copa del Rey after 60 minutes when it was 2-2. Went to extra time, and he got the third to make it 3-2, and then assisted his brother in the 121st minute. So I was so pleased for him because it was such a quick pick-me-up from the...
His goal was a 1-2 off the post as well.
It was.
He looked like it would be a nice finish, but it just hit the inside of the post to come out again. He followed it in and put
I
it
mean,
away.
he's got incredible stamina. He's famous for playing the most consecutive games in La Liga history.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's something.
So if anyone was going to do this, it was going to be him.
But I was so pleased for him because, as I say, it was such a devastating campaign in AFCON for Ghana. So to get that kind of quick...
I mean, Andre Onana's going, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to come in late and save a penalty.
Yeah.
And then I got stitched up.
I tell you what, Cameroon have got Nigeria in the knockouts.
I know, it's a great game.
Big
Big
one.
game.
See, this is all just further proof that El Chiringuito doesn't miss.
Yeah, you don't-
Whenever you tune in, it's going to be something amazing.
That is true. How about this from Alistair on X? After Wednesday night's Ramble Reacts, he said, would you like to see the 4 Guineas of Equatorial, Bissau, Papua New and Guinea, or regular Guinea as we now call them, band together to form a Guinea Cup? 1,000 guineas to the winner. Mascot is a guinea pig.
Absolutely.
Alistair, how on earth could we oppose that idea?
Yeah, or maybe they could form one Super Guinea.
Guinea cubed. Just play against Papua New Guinea. Who are the outlier here?
Guinea United, surely.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Papua New Guinea aren't a real force in football, to be fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
or geographically anywhere near them.
no, it's very logistically difficult for them as well. Although I did notice that when I was looking up them after Alistair sent this in, that Papua New Guinea's biggest ever win is a 20-0 defeat of American Samoa. So they've got a bit of pedigree.
Have they?
Yeah, and then I noticed that in the summer just gone, they lost 10-0 to Malaysia. So it's up and down. For
Swings
them.
and roundabouts.
Yeah,
isn't
they
it?
probably wouldn't be making a big contribution to that theoretical, but certainly very, very good tournament of guineas.
Dean Smith also says you're an encyclopedia of football.
A what?
An encyclopedia of football.
I don't know what that means.
Yes, it is Jack's Encyclopedia. I am hosting this week. It's a simple game of categories. If you go too slow, I'll play Gary Neville's Orgasm, which will leave you 7 seconds. So I won last week.
Yeah,
Marcus
you did.
considered it a friendly, quite churlishly, I thought. But we're back now. I'm going to start with you, Luke.
Wow, it's the first time ever.
You're to my right.
That's a tribute to the Luke Nation?
It's a tribute to the Luke Nation.
Very
and
funny,
it's
yeah.
also just easy to keep track of.
No, I appreciate it. I actually a couple of points of admin from me. One, we used to call it the Gary Neville Goalgasm.
Yeah.
Now it's been upgraded just to his standard orgasm. And secondly, I thought
There's been research done behind the behind the scenes.
Yeah, the two are similar.
Marcus and Vishen both embarrassed themselves last week. I thought, Jim, you were the only person who came out of it with any credit.
Thanks,
Why did
mate.
I embarrass myself?
Just dismissive. Hosting it when you could have put your belt on the line.
Well, someone had to host it.
Yeah.
Can I say the level of buttering up to the host, whoever the host is in this game, it's just got out of control.
Jim, I think you're an absolute credit to yourself, and I appreciate you coming to
You
me
are
first.
looking beautiful today, though.
This is no different from how Luke normally talks to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Right, shall we begin?
Yeah.
we?
Okay, the first category is a doozy. The FA Cup is back, as we know. The competition is a nationwide experience, so I want you to name all of the English and Welsh towns and cities that have a population of more than 200,000. These figures are as of 2019, and there are 25 answers. So to reiterate that, all of the English and Welsh towns and cities that have a population of more than 200,000.
That are in the competition, or just generally?
Just generally.
Just generally.
Right.
This is an incredible category.
Isn't it?
Isn't it?
So, Luke, you are up.
Look, between you and I'll talk to them if you want me to. Have they fucking lost it, this production team? Have they had a wobble?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Bit of
So-
geography.
Basically, then, in summary, any town or city in England or Wales that's got more than 200,000 people in it, off we go.
Correct.
London.
Well done. Marcus.
Birmingham.
Birmingham is in there. Of course it is.
Why did you need to check?
Just being thorough.
Fair.
Cardiff.
Cardiff.
Oh, I like that.
Also there.
Try to butt up the Welsh.
Yeah.
Pathetic. Manchester.
Manchester is obviously there.
Liverpool.
Liverpool is there.
I know it's there.
I know. I was just...
Newcastle.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
How many are there in total?
Doesn't matter. Just
There
give
are
us one.
25 in total.
Okay. Got to be Bristol, right?
Absolutely.
Leeds.
Leeds. Correct.
Leeds are in.
Leeds are in.
Sheffield.
Sheffield is there.
God, it comes round quick, doesn't it?
It does, and you suddenly go, oh, maybe this isn't as easy as I thought.
Someone's got to say it. I'm pretty sure Southampton has.
Correct.
Nottingham.
Nottingham. Yep.
York.
Oh, I don't know about that, Andy.
No.
Get him out of the
So
way.
Andy's out.
Get him out of the way.
Here we go.
That's a fucking big move for the little nation.
York's tiny.
Yeah.
That's not tiny.
It is.
You know what?
Under 200,000,
He
mate.
was quite smug. See him looking at us like, I know Northern Towns, you lot don't.
Yeah.
Luke, you're back in.
I am back in. That's why I'm stalling, Jim. I'm going to go for Norwich.
Norwich.
Has to be.
No
Has to be.
Nope.
Ah!
Hull.
Hull. Point to Marcus.
Yeah. Fuck. People don't realise how big Hull is.
I almost went for Ipswich.
No one went for Glasgow or
Ipswich.
Edinburgh.
Because
wasn't there.
it wasn't Scotland.
So I'll read you the ones you could have had.
Oh, yeah, right.
Bolton, Bradford,
Oh.
Brighton,
Yep.
Coventry, Derby, Leicester,
Leicester around here.
Luton, Sean Dyche's Northampton, Plymouth, Portsmouth.
Oh, I genuinely thought Portsmouth was about 190,000. I
Right.
didn't want to guess
I'm
it. 'cause
surprised at Northampton.
Would have been
They started
embarrassing,
flocking
really.
there since you've left.
Yeah.
You also could have had Reading, Stoke, or Wolverhampton. So,
Never heard of any of them.
no. Right then.
I heard that Hull was the 8th biggest city in England.
Right.
Is that right?
There we go.
Yeah, it's a bigger place.
We
than
ain't got
we
time
are.
for that now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well done. So, category 2. Countries that have won the Africa Cup of Nations since the competition started in 1957. I want the current officially recognised names of each country because in 2 cases on this list that has changed. So there are 15 in total. So Marcus, we're going to start with you.
I'll have Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast.
Or Côte d'Ivoire, if you want the French.
That
would have been
in there.
I'd have kicked off.
Yeah.
Andy?
Egypt.
Egypt are obviously there. Won it 7 times.
I might as well get this one out of the way. Zambia.
Love
Zambia.
that.
Correct. Well done.
Ghana.
Ghana are there.
Senegal.
Senegal also there.
Cameroon.
Nice.
Correct.
I'm now worried someone said this. Nigeria?
No one said that,
No, okay. It suddenly panic.
but now I'm out. Sandy.
Is it me? Democratic Republic of Congo.
Ooh.
Very good,
Well
Andy.
done.
Well played, well played.
Right, now I'm basically into that stage where I'm just naming an African country.
Come on then.
And I think I'm going to go for Tunisia.
Ooh, maybe.
Well done.
Thank you very
Well
much
done.
indeed, everyone.
Marcus.
Algeria.
Correct.
Nice.
This is a strong game, everyone. Andy?
South Africa.
That's my last one. I think I've only won it once.
Okay, so how many are there in total? 15. How many are left?
You've got 3 left. You've
Oh,
done
really?
incredibly well here.
Okay, 3 left.
Sorry, 4 left.
I'm going to go with
4 left.
Morocco.
Nice. That was my last
Well
one.
done. Now you've got 3 left.
Bloody Nora.
I know what 4 minus 1 is, Jim. Get him, Gary Neville, that fucking wanker, now.
Yeah, he's not wrong, mate.
I'll have Republic of Congo.
The other Congo. Nice.
Yeah.
Well
Not DR
done.
Congo.
Well done.
Very good.
Okay, so just the 2 left. Andy?
Angola?
Okay, so Mali.
Marcus Speller wins!
Well done. Well done.
Who are the other 2?
Yeah.
The other 2 are Ethiopia and Sudan.
Oh,
So,
Bloody hell.
That's a great round.
yeah. That was really, really good.
Do we all
well done,
agree?
everyone.
Can we all agree that I did better than Andy in that one?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, cheers. I'll take that. Second place is massive for the Luke Nation at this point.
But that's so
huge.
funny, isn't it? Because there's some big nations there like Kenya who aren't particularly big on the old football.
You successfully defended your title there, mate.
Thanks.
Yeah. Great
very
fashion,
impressive.
actually.
Very, very
Very good.
impressive.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
Good. You sound like you are. Yeah.
I am.
Sounds like it's just another day at the office for
I'm
you.
just
mate.
sort of
It's
looking around, see if we had a comment from Pitbull, but he just says, "Don't stop the party."
When Jimmy to the B posted up on X, which is also known as Twitter, the record of how everyone's done. And obviously, I'm bottom of the table.
Yeah.
I've won 6 times. I was absolutely astonished.
Yeah.
I thought I'd probably won twice maximum. You've won about 30.
Yeah, you're like the Provicelli of
I am.
this game.
Back in the day, I was all about it. Yeah.
It's a bit like Phil Brown's Hull. You probably won them all at the beginning, but not for a really long time. So.
Yeah. Show me the way to go home. Was that the song he sang? What song was he singing?
I think it was, something like that.
Yeah.
When he was on his moped driving around.
That's a big Harley, mate. It's a big hog.
That's
not a
true.
moped.
It's disrespectful.
Big man's not getting on the moped.
Forgive me,
It's
Phil
like a
Brown.
fucking Honda Goldwing. Massive hog. It's like Born to be Wild.
Thank you very much for listening to the Football Ramble preview show sponsored by Bet4 Everybody, part of the Acast Creator Network. Join myself, Luke and Andy tomorrow for the mailbag. Do follow us on X, TikTok, YouTube and Instagram at Football Ramble. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast app. It's been an absolute pleasure. The gate's open. The weekend has begun. It's FA Cup weekend, of course. Thank you, Luke Moore.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim Campbell.
Cheers.
Thank you, Andy
Thank you.
Brassel. Thank you, everybody. See you soon.
Thanks for watching a clip from the Football Ramble podcast. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you're feeling extra generous, why don't you like this video? Why don't you like this video?